We do have Voices in the top right here, and Filthy in the bottom left, who did take last game. Honestly, though, it would be interesting to see him change the build up. Obviously, this is a best of 5. If you do the same build twice, third game, you can always predict it. Maybe he might go 1-1-1 himself and just play a macro game that goes for so long. But still, anyway, we'll have to see what happens here in this game. Now, Zola Caverns, what do you think of the map, and how do you think this will play out?
I really, really like Zola Caverns. I don't know whether for TVT, I mean, taking that goal is a big part of it. Getting your planetary fortress up and just, taking your stance in the middle of the map is what it's going to be about. Whether he's going to go for buy, though, I don't know, because I haven't seen Filthy's transition in TVT yet. I would have liked to have seen a much longer game so I could actually get some insight into what he does in TVT. I sort of know what Voices is going to do. Go for that sort of 1-1-1 opening, and if Filthy does go for that 2 racks expand build, I mean, we saw Wild and Santi get owned by it, like, just destroyed, so it'll be interesting to see if Filthy can hold that off.
I think the key to that 2 racks pressure build is to put pressure on your opponent, to force him to make units, because, like, we saw in the last game early pressure, he's really weak, because he's trying to get his factory up, he's trying to get siege tanks out, and once he gets siege tanks out, he has the advantage. Any aggression before there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And getting that bunker up also was, I saw him do them in the other games as well, which was interesting. It was a part of his wall off. He lifted his barracks up and placed that bunker down, but he didn't get it up enough in time. And Filthy is going for that second barracks, so we're going to be seeing the exact same build as last game.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when he scouts this. Obviously, he's going to want to bunker pretty quickly. Hopefully, he learns his lesson from last game. You want to be safe. Like, after losing the first game to that, you don't want to just be like, oh, I'll play better. You want to change your strat up just a little bit to try and hold off this specific push.
Yeah, exactly. Marine now, the barracks are actually rallied straight to Voices base, so he does have plans for aggression. I really like that.
And this has been scouted as well by Voices, running that SCV in and clearly seeing what's going on. Voices getting ready to finish that wall off. But I reckon he needs a bunker pretty quick here, but minerals aren't exactly free here. You do actually need the money for this. And really, he's kind of struggling right now. He's trying to get the Marines out and stuff like that, realizing he does need them. We do have one SCV coming forward here, possibly to scout, to see what's going on up top of the ramp here.
That's the problem also. He can't lift his barracks up to place his bunker down because he actually does need those Marines producing as fast as he possibly can. So maybe a bunker just to the left of the supply depot or something needs to go down very soon.
True. That's a good point, actually. Because obviously, when the Marines are going to break in, he does lift it up and gets a bunker down. Will this be in time? There is one Marine getting pretty close. If this Marine can pick off this SCV, there are 2 Marines at the top, though. Just keep that in mind. It's the 2 Marines that follow this first one that he needs to get his bunker up for. He's going for 1-1-1 again. He's getting the factory down, realizing he obviously does need a transition. You can't just put down 6 bunkers and be like, yeah, I'm good, because your opponent will just expand and win the game in a long game. Yep. But still, he does drop the ramp.
Take a look in the middle of the map again. We do see this mana barracks floating across the middle of the map. Maybe he's going to use it for vision. Yeah, and bunker is up. So I'd like to see what he's actually going to do with this barracks now, because it's kind of dead weight.
Just use it for scout. Obviously, he's fast expanding. He's not going to be producing from 2 Raxes. Getting actually another Rax in his main, quite interesting. But honestly, Voices, though, we do know he has an awesome siege tank timing push. And if he can do that again, I do worry now for Filthy.
Yeah, getting that barracks out to scout straight away is really interesting. I've never actually seen anyone do that. Like, I've seen people use barracks for scouting, obviously, but not at the very start of a TVT.
Yeah, true. But if you keep in mind, though, obviously he's also getting his expansion up. But it does turn into Tank Viking does Tank Viking. We do see the starport as well going up from Voices. Maybe he thinks he can sacrifice that, getting the intel, just checking his opponent's build, seeing what's going on. We do have siege tanks being produced. Siege tech should be shortly behind this, and we should see. I'm expecting that timing push that he did, because what he also does with his timing push is he expands behind it. So if it fails, he has that expansion to fall back on, and usually it's going to do some sort of damage. Kill most of his army, so counterattack's pretty difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I think I know now why that barracks is in there. I think he wants to just scout for Banshees or any type of build that he's going to be doing. And because most of the time you do know that Terrans hide starports in the corner of their base, or so a scan won't get it every time, but a floating barracks now will just be able to see his entire base.
Yeah, true. That barracks will obviously die. It is in the red, and there are no SCVs anywhere nearby. So he's just going to run over the top. One last check to see what's going on. He can see the tanks. Obviously, the factory is using the tech lab for tanks and not to swap it for the Banshees. That barracks just get killed off there. Worth it. I assume Filthy thinks it's worth sacrificing that Rax for scouting, but hey, he has got his expansion up now, and if he can hold on here with this push timing that will come, I assume. Medivac is out. I think he wait for the second one.
Second one, yeah.
did he push with one? I know he had 2 or 3 tanks.
I think it was the second medvac, and we did see Wild, and I never saw that Satini game, but I did see Wild get like absolutely crushed by it.
He doesn't have siege tech though. Maybe he forgot it, or maybe he's trying a different type of push. But in all other games, he had siege tech ready. So maybe an error. Maybe he's trying something different this game, but we'll have to wait and see what happens here. We do have 4 racks now, all with tech labs on them producing here, 4 filthy. So looking to counter this sort of push here with just pure Marauder.
Interesting. Marines aren't going to obviously do quite good. He's scanned now and seen that it's exactly the same buildings you saw with his barracks. Siege tech now just going up for voices. Maybe he's going to head out right across the map, and as soon as he gets there, or when he wants to push in, it's going to be ready.
I'm actually quite surprised at the speed of siege tank, to be honest. It's quite quickly, but he's obviously going to get there before it finishes. It's not even halfway done yet. Coming out to meet him, SCV's being pulled here. Stimson runs in. He's targeting down the tanks. Wow. I don't think he realizes his opponent doesn't have stim yet, because honestly, you probably want to target the Marines and stuff. They do sick damage. I can't quite tell who's winning here. Siege tank does get picked up, which is a great move, but looks like he will hold this.
Very, very well done, and now he does have the faster expansion. Boyce is now just putting his expansion down now. He has the orbital command, he has double mules cranking, he's going to have the higher income, and maybe just... he's swapping now into a factory, so
he's
we're
going to have to. Yeah, definitely factory going
yeah.
down. I mean, you can't win this with pure by. Eventually going to need to turn into Tank Viking. If it goes to a 30-minute game and you're still using barracks, then how are you still in the game is my question, really. But still, we do have expansion going out from Voices, looking to catch back up. There is still a siege tank up, getting repaired, so he has some sort of defense. But we do have Marauders now pushing out. Something to note, though, these Marauders here are very low on health, because they obviously don't have a medevac to heal them after stimming up.
Yeah, one hit from all them. One big tank splash will really, really damage him. I'm glad that he actually has those 2 tanks up. It's going to keep him alive for the longer game. These Marauders now heading around right back of the base, hoping to snipe maybe the command center, even if there were not enough units there, or just some SCVs.
In fact, with the tank placement right here, he can actually snipe that command center. Oh, loading the tanks up. I like that. Going for a drop perhaps, or maybe just hiding his units. But the Marauders do come in now, obviously. Cannot see it coming. Pick off the SCV, denying that command center, in fact targeting it down, sieges up, stims and runs away, saving the units. Wow, that's actually really nice damage right there.
Delaying the expansion just by 10-20 seconds there. Banshee now going to head over and maybe one-shot all these poor Marauders.
Yeah, they will get killed off unless the Banshee decides to have a bit of a wait. Although the Marauders are going to scout the Banshee now, Cloak is not being researched, so just choosing to go for just the Banshee harass. I have seen him do sort of this Banshees in the army sort of thing, like just put the Banshees with the tanks. They do a lot of damage, and they, you know, you can micro them quite well.
They do ridiculous amounts of damage to Marines, but Marines obviously do ridiculous amounts of damage to them as well. Voice is now gearing up for a drop, heading across the very left side of the map, maybe going to place it in the very back corner of, what's his name's Filthy's base, but I think Filthy might have actually seen it. He's moving his units all the way back into his main, and he's going to be prepared.
Yep, I'm just checking this view right now. Don't know how he could have seen it. Perhaps he scanned it at a good time. Or he did actually see the dropships when he did attack in his base, so suspecting there is a drop happening. He did see him loaded up as well. They are going to come in, and there will be units nearby to clear this out. If he does drop, what's he going to do here? I'm not quite sure. He does run under it. Wow, that is very quick. Doing a lot of damage here. In fact, he needs to pull back. He might lose one. Wow, lose those 2 tanks and the one that died. GG by Voices.
Wow.
Wow. Filthy.
He was all over that, man. Filthy was all over that.